Hi, I'm Manney, and I'm the founder of Infobeing Solutions. I'm an MBA who spent the past 20 years working in sales. Most of that time I spent selling high-value enterprise software solutions at the executive level. Before founding Infobeing Solutions, I've worked in the trenches, I've held jobs as inside sales rep, I've managed inside sales teams, and I've worked in outside sales and account management. What I've come to understand throughout the years is that my expertise is really in outbound prospecting and lead gen. I've worked every territory in the world. I've lived and worked in North America and in Europe, and I've developed a process and methodology that works across industries and across territories as long as you're selling B2B, high-value, enterprise-level solutions to executives. Despite all of its challenges, outbound prospecting is still the best way, the most direct way to get engaged into new sales opportunities. It seems as easy as picking up the phone or sending an email, but in truth it's a lot more complicated. In today's world of information overload, it takes a high volume of activity to get your message through to the right people. You need to have the right messaging going to the right people on all of your target accounts in the right way. The way it's typically been done, the way most companies manage outbound prospecting, is simply to hire an individual to work a territory. You hire an inside sales rep or a team, you hire a manager, and you assign territories and you say go. Now what I've seen over the years managing these teams is that this approach fails. It isn't as simple as hiring a BDR, ISR, inside sales rep and saying go prospect. The truth is that sales reps fail at outbound prospecting. One individual cannot work a territory effectively through outbound prospecting. It's impossible to find the individual with the skill set and the mindset to write the strongest email messaging, phone scripts, to do massive hours and hours of research through sources like data.com, LinkedIn, company websites, Inside View, and so on, to build lists, to send the emails out on a high enough volume, to manage all the responses, the opt-outs, the referrals, and the positive responses, to track them down, to schedule calls for sales reps, to take calls themselves, and to track all of this in Salesforce.com. You're just not going to find a single individual, or it's very difficult to find a single individual with all these skills. And it's quite expensive to hire an employee for this job. Now what I've seen throughout the years doing this is that the way to manage this process is to make it a process and use a team approach. I'll go into the specifics about how we do this, but in today's world of high volume interactions, you have to have your absolute best message in front of the right people, especially if you're selling to the executive or CXO level. And the way to manage this is not to just hire an individual to work a territory. It will fail. That person will probably go through the low-hanging fruit, look over inbound leads, and try to look busy. They're not going to be forthcoming with their methodology, their process, what they're doing on a daily and weekly basis, and that's just not going to work. I've also seen in many cases that inside sales reps tend to want to justify their value by sometimes taking opportunities too far down the sales process. They want to take the first call or the second call because they aspire to be an account manager and they want to show their skill. Well, again, that's just undermining the sales process. You want your best and brightest account executives engaged at the executive level as early as possible on that first call. So what I've done over the years is I've come up with a process that works across territories, across industries and verticals. And it's a process that's based on a team approach with 5 different roles to do the job of an inside sales rep. Okay, so what other options are there to run an effective outbound prospecting program? You could hire an outsourced lead gen firm. Now, as I said, I've worked in inside sales, and sales management for 20 years. So I have some experience in the past working with outsourced lead gen firms. And the honest truth is, My opinion prior to founding Infobeing Solutions is that it never works. Whenever I was asked whether we should consider an outsourcing lead gen, I would automatically say there's no way. Our products are too complicated. Nobody can be trained to sell these solutions at the executive level. Absolutely not. So I'm perfectly aware of the skepticism and the reasons behind that, why you might not want to look for outsourcing lead gen. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll talk about some of the specific reasons why I've determined that outsourced lead gen fails. First of all, cold calling. There's no way you're going to train a junior outsourced sales rep to pitch high value, complex, enterprise level solutions at the executive level. You just don't want that person talking to those prospects. So really, in my opinion, anytime an outsourced lead gen firm talks about cold calling, it's a disqualification. You don't want them on the phone with your prospects. It's a great way to alienate them, and you hardly ever get to that second or third call if that's the first experience with your company. Okay. Other problems with outsourcing lead gen. A lot of times it feels like they're totally disconnected from your process. They're not integrated into your Salesforce.com. You don't know what they're doing or who they're going after. Sometimes they even go after your prospects as a third party. They do surveys and other gimmicky tricks like giveaways, vacation giveaways, or watches, or crazy things like this. And again, this just isn't the way you want to approach your executive level prospects. It doesn't respect their intelligence or honor their dignity. Not a great way to make a first impression. Okay, so for the most part, those kinds of lead gen schemes just don't work. What you do want is you want your sales reps on intro calls, on 15-minute intro calls with the prospects they want to be talking to, with CXO and VP level contacts in your target accounts. So what we do from the prospect's perspective is, as far as they perceive it and as far as they see it, even though there's a whole process behind this, what they perceive is a professional member of your staff reaching out to them through email to request a 15-minute call. We lead with your strongest value propositions and messaging, no tricks. And we very simply use your Exchange server and email system to schedule your sales reps based on when they're available to talk to the prospects. We schedule and confirm calls. You have full transparency. Everything we do is we're integrated. We're using your Salesforce.com. All the contacts we find are uploaded and put into your Salesforce.com, so you have those forever. It's basically what you would hope to get by hiring a highly effective individual employee, but we do it better, faster, and much cheaper because we run it as a process.